Royal Phonics by Professor Husne. There was a king who swallowed a ring, so he couldn't sing, and they had to bring a medicinal thing from a bird's wing from far off Ming to make him ring the bell again and sing with the ding. The king had a queen who had never been absolutely clean in her early teen. She was very mean, jealously green, always making a scene when she was seen flirting with the dean, who was very keen to tell her she was mean and ask her to be clean. The king's people think the queen should wear mink and frequently wink, which would make her pink, as well as drink melted zinc right to the brink over the sink. The queen went to a hut to pluck some nut where she had a cut, and blood did jut, which made her berserk. So she had herself shut and quenched her thirst, avoiding those who rushed. The king's little son, who was the only one, liked to have fun roaming in the sun and playing with a gun, which he had won in a long run after he had done eating a bun given by a nun who made a pun when she made a hun. The prince talked a lot about a little knot which was short, and a little rot found in a pot which had a dot made from a shot, as he would not let it get hot. The prince was in a plight when he went to a height as part of a right to fly a kite, which went out of sight from the castle site, shining so bright in the dazzling light, though the prince held it tight with all his might, as if in a flight like a brazen knight, and about to bite to prove his right, giving all a fright until it turned into night, though the moon was white. The king's minister was very sinister, who beat his sister, who ate an oyster, and made him bitter by loving a hitter who was a spitter, and an irritating knitter who also made litter, messing as a fitter with his constant chitter, wasting life as a sitter. The queen had a cat which only sat on a colorful mat, wearing a hat after getting a pat for killing a rat, and shooting a bat which fell flat on the noisy gnat, messing up the hat of the hunting cat as he continuously spat. The cat, like the hen, which awakened the men when it laid eggs 10 in its hidden den, and pecked at the pen again and again, snatching it from Ben, running with it then, hiding from the men who would eat the hen. I'll tell you now of a royal cow, a long with a sow, along with a sow, who met a plough, who did bow and made a vow, not ever to row or to chow, learning how only to scream, wow! A dog named Shane, given by a Dane, having a big brain which was totally sane. After he came in a train, instead of a plane, across the plain, tying the dog in a chain around the mane, as its mother was slain, beaten with a cane by a woman called Jane, who had got a sprain with a lot of pain from sorting the grain, which got soaked in rain. That hid the pain, though she couldn't complain or even feign about the main part of her gain she made from Maine. A mountain bear ate the king's hair, which had a lot of hair for which the prince did care. This the prince could not bear, so he did dare to send hunters to its lair to catch it with a snare, making it bear into pieces to tear. Then he gave it to his mare, telling him to wear as furry glove pair, and attend the king's fair, which charged a high fare from people who stare at items so rare, and some delicious pear which was stalled at the rear for nobody to share, but which nobody did spare. In the Queen's Park there was a shark eating a lark, which was naked stark, inside an ark, which was very dark, and left a mark on the bark with a spark. The palace cook, who read no book, was a big crook, and worked for a duke, who went to a nook with a bird he took, which was a rook, caught with a hook from a tree that shook, where he went to look. The royal gardener's boy, who worked in the soil with a lot of toil, which made him boil and wipe with the oil, wrapped like a coil. He was always coy about the prince's toy, which gave him joy. One silly fool didn't know the rule and started to drool, sitting by the pool on a high stool to make himself cool with a little tool. When the king became old, he was no longer bold, and was unable to hold, as he felt extremely cold. So he was told by his own foal to take out his gold, to have it roll, to shape and mold whatever was old. But he got them sold. The end.